me.
I think the big issue here is that Microsoft is just getting too big, so everybody is just afraid of them, and that leads us to the next topic of Apple deciding that Microsoft is just doing too much. They just acquired Activision and Blizzard, and now shit's changing. So like we got to get in through the door. Like this is my moment. So Apple is possibly trying to get into the console wars with Microsoft and PlayStation, which sounds like the dumbest shit. That sounds crazy. It's like why would Apple need to make a console, right? If they already have Apple Arcade and that shit plays all over, the Apple TV device, it plays on their, the app, all of that shit. Your iPad, your iPhone, you could play Apple Arcade damn near anywhere, and they come out with a console, that wouldn't make any sense. Like that sounds crazy, right, guys? Like I'm not the only one, right?
Where you at on this, Mark? You muted, man.
So this is just Apple, man. They print money. Whatever they make, people buy it. They have Apple Arcade, so they have a good. I'm not going to say good. They have a library of games. I'm not super familiar with the Apple Arcade games.
It's
But
okay. It's nothing crazy. Like it's just if you want like mobile games, you would just check there and be like, oh, okay, it's like one or two I could play.
But I see this as their way of selling more subscriptions. They're going to sell the console bundled with maybe 6 months or something. They're going to have some buy 12 months of Apple Arcade and get the Apple Stick or some shit. So I just feel like this is their way of selling more Apple Arcade, getting more subscriptions out there. And how do you do that? You sell a little device with a controller. They already have, Apple TVs. They already have a vast majority of things. But it must be lucrative enough for them to sell a controller and a little stick or a little HDMI device to try to sell more Apple Arcades. Not only that, as long as it has the App Store, I think that they'll be able to have more money. Like they'll be able to. It's just like another Apple TV. I feel like, and
Yeah,
probably
it's too pointless, man. Like, dude, there's so many bundles and shit that you can get now. Like, just like if you wanna, let's say, like you and your wife need like a little bit more storage in the cloud or whatever, you can literally go to like a higher tier for the storage, and it just gives you all of the Apple shit. Like you get the Apple TV, you get Apple Arcade, you get the 5 terabytes of storage and all that stuff, like a couple bucks more, dude. Like it's not even phasing them. So them, I don't know why you would need to increase subscription shit with this.
So Mark, you think this would just be a dongle, HDMI stick with the controller? This is not a real console.
I think it's really just an Apple TV 2.0. If I were to make a guess, this is going to be something like
Apple
a
TV
week,
3.
something at week. Maybe it has an M1. Probably not. Probably not. Actually, I just see this.
Do you consider those consoles like the little dongle with the controller? Would you classify that as a console? Because see, I wouldn't.
I wouldn't either. Not a dongle, anyways. But the Apple TV,
like a Steam Deck, not Steam Deck,
console.
but like a Steam Link, how you plugged it in or whatever, and you had that controller. I don't consider that like a console, so that's why I'm like wondering. I think this is more than that. Like for me, I think this is like a legitimate like console, like a PlayStation.
I think it's gonna be something like an Apple TV but smaller. So I think that's why I'm referring to it as like a dongle. I think it's gonna be something physical, not actually like an HDMI stick, like a Fire Stick, but I think it's gonna be around the size of a Mac Mini or an Apple TV. I haven't seen one in years. I just know they're small. But
a Mac Mini is pretty small, but I think the Apple TV is still smaller than that Mac Mini. Just by like
if I were to guess, that's gonna be there because I don't see them paying for other people's like. I say that it's gonna be like the same specs as Apple TV or a little better with the M1. They want to use their own silicon, their own stuff. They want to use their own ecosystem. But I really just see this is the way of them pushing their Apple Arcade. Is we have a console now, but I don't think it's going to be.
Their Apple Arcade sucks, man. Like this would be no selling point to me unless it played third-party games. Like their Apple Arcade, I mean, by third-party games, I mean AAA third-party games. Let me clarify. Like Elden Ring. Because you can't do that right now in their Apple Store. You can't play anything that's a big mainstream AAA title.
Yeah, this is
their
going to
store.
leverage their already service offerings. That's my guess. I don't
Gosh,
see
that's
them.
lame. That is so lame. That's like so stupid.
But I could definitely see them utilizing that Mac Mini like unit and trying to house something in that, because it's nice and sleek. And I don't even know how many Mac Minis they're really selling. So it would be a good use, like a reuse, kind of like how Microsoft basically kind of reused the 1S and used the same unit as the Series S. So they just punched a bunch of holes in it to make it look slightly different.
Yeah. This is even more worthless than I think like we're even giving a credit for, and we're calling it pretty worthless.
Yeah.
Because like if this is just like a Series S, there's no room for this. Like there's just no space for a product like this. I have no idea. This is the strangest thing for me. I don't know what direction this is going in, because thinking about it, it would just be a third-party console machine like a Stadia.
Right.
Even if you could play like mainstream AAA titles on it, I would rather have a Series S, honestly. Why am I buying the Apple? What is the Apple product doing?
It's just got the Apple logo on it.
Or X isn't already doing better at a much cheaper price. I don't know what this is doing though. It has to do something, right? So you think it's like in the Apple ecosystem somehow, but how? In what way? How is this improving my Apple experience? Like I'm not understanding any more so than like an M1 chip or like plugging my MacBook Pro, mirroring it onto my screen and playing games on. Like what is this doing different that would make anyone want to buy this? I can't think of anything.
Yeah, like
getting an Apple product. So
yeah, like Godly says, it has the Apple on it. So that's
it's sell out crazy, bro. Just because it got Apple on it, just like if they was to make some bullshit ass car, like it would just sell because it's Apple and motherfuckers flock to Apple.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I feel like they're in their own realm, so I feel like they're like, hey guys, we don't have a console yet. Let's change our Mac Mini or Apple TV, call it a console. All these people are bundling and already have Apple Arcade, but no one's playing it. Let's release a controller too. Here you go.
4K Apple Arcade games.
There you go. So
I doubt it. I don't think so. There are some things of theirs that don't sell very well. They're expensive stuff, like the wheels, or something.
But people still buy them shits though.
They do
would
get
be like,
bought,
why would you buy that shit?
They do get bought, but they don't do well though. Like they don't do well. So that's what I mean. I guess there's going to be a few people that will just buy it, absolutely. But I'm saying,
at the same time, I think that Apple just doesn't care. Like they will just put some shit out there to see if somebody will buy it, and like it's nothing to them. Like
That's
they
true.
did it to say they did it.
Maybe
and, like,
they're just
it
trying.
won't phase them because they just got so much revenue. Right. Just trying. So it's like, we'll put this out there, see how it does. And it's like, how like I think like the what's the name of that one hardcore ass Mac? That's just the tower by itself.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
It's like the super most expensive Mac.
Yeah, no one buys it, but
nobody buys it. But like
or the screen or the monitor that no one bought, but it was like beautiful, but no one bought it. But a few people did. Like they do things that people don't buy,
and they might like upgrade it like every 10 years or something like that, or like every 7 years, just to say oh, it's a new one. But yeah, that's just there to be there.
Yeah, I think they do hit home runs sometimes though, because most of the time when I get an Apple product, it usually is adding utility. Like it's better. Like for instance, with my iPad, I feel like that's not just me buying a product because it has the Apple logo on it. Like it legitimately is doing things better. Or like AirPods, like they legitimately do Bluetooth better than like a lot of the other options. They feel better. They're adding utility. So I'm just wondering, are they doing just this gimmicky thing like we're talking about? Where like, here, this is something unique, and the 20 people that love Apple will buy it? Or are they actually trying to change the game in some way that makes you want to like adds to your it's changing or doing something that makes your experience like more enjoyable where you want to buy it? Like I don't know. I just don't see what it could do though. That's would make me want to buy it over a Series S. That's all I'm saying. I just don't know what they
Yeah.
could do.
I think too, because on Apple Silicon, the ARM processor now, I feel like they're kind of limited, and they're gonna use that. If this is if this is better than the Apple TV, it'll have whatever processor I would assume is in their Apple line, but that's just not really suited for gaming yet. I know a lot of developers and stuff are going towards ARM because it's more efficient. You get a lot more better performance on it, but maybe this is a future-proof device, because I think in 5 years, a Mac will be a gaming device, when it's more optimized, but not a lot of games run on M1 processors or the ARM processors right now. But I think that is the future. I was reading a couple articles about Macs in general and just their M1 processor, and they do say that there is some studios dedicated to making games for ARMs in the future. So, I think with all the Chromebooks those are ARM processors, I feel like that space is getting a little bigger over time. A lot of people have Chromebooks. So maybe studios might be making ARM games to release it on Mac and, the Chromebooks and that whole space that's kind of growing silently. Maybe one day when you have an education discount, they throw in this console if you buy a Mac or some crap. You know how they have those education, they throw in AirPods.
There's always some kind of like hurdle with gaming on Mac, right? Like I know in the past, Mark knows this too, like you couldn't get every single game because the operating system wasn't supported, right?
Yeah,
so
they didn't have DirectX.
They didn't have DirectX, right? So that was a hurdle, and you couldn't play certain PC games. They had to be specially optimized for a Mac because they didn't have DirectX. I feel like we're here again, and it's like they got these great pieces of hardware. I think the M1 chip is absolutely awesome. I think it's totally powerful enough to play all these games. It's just there's these stupid walls, like you're mentioning right now, that developers have to overcome. And like, why are they going to do that? And so like, it just frustrates me because they have something really cool that I'm trying to think in my mind, like what would make it cool to game on like an Apple console, a legitimate console. Well, it would have to play all the games, and it's not going to. Mac systems never play all the games, man. It's so frustrating. So I just don't understand, man, what their goal is with this. I would just stick with Apple Arcade, man. It plays on your devices. I mean, I don't know.
I love gaming.